NGR's PAL Block, our all Nintendo show. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, that beautiful old mocha latte, Edward Barnell.
I defeated a guardian and I enjoyed it.
You did?
Yes.
What?
Uh-huh.
How'd you do that?
The reflector shield. So you know that beam they shoot at you?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you got your shield out, and if you time it right, you'll reflect their beam back to them. And if they do almost like two shots, and you reflect two shots back to them, they end up just killing themselves.
What? Because I got those. I have the guard, the special arrows that you can you shoot at them, but they don't do a lot of damage. So I only have 3 or 4, and then once I use them, I have to run away because they chase you and pretty much just straight up murder you. But man, I'm so jealous that you beat one already.
Yeah, I actually beat 2 of them.
What?
We'll get to it later when we talk about it, because I got to Robbie, and I'll explain more about that later.
Yeah, I have gotten to him also. But yeah, this episode is going to pretty much be a super semi spoilery Zelda. No story points or anything, but just things that we've done in Zelda that have been really cool, or we're not going to spoil any of the story stuff, but there will be moment to moment type spoilers for this episode.
Yes.
But before we get into that, my friend Joey, not Joey Pease from various NGR and old DNA stuff, but another guy that I work with wants a Switch really bad, and he wants to play Zelda. But he's not super into games. He plays multiplayer stuff on PS4 and stuff. And he was asking me, he's like, I really want to Switch, and I'm going to the Nintendo World Store in a couple weeks. He's going to New York, and I'm really jealous because I want to go to the Nintendo World Store again, because that store was awesome. And the last time I was there was kind of bittersweet, because I went the weekend that Satoru Iwata passed away.
Oh.
And there's a huge memorial thing there for him and stuff, and it was cool to see, but also a super sad time to be there. So I want to go back, but he's going up there in a couple weeks, and he wants to buy a Switch while he's up there if they have them. And he's like, I want to buy a Switch, but I don't know what games are coming besides Mario Zelda. He's like, do you have any recommendations for someone like him? Or anybody else that's looking for a Switch. So I thought you and I could go over some games that aren't Mario and Zelda coming to the Switch that they've already announced, mainstream titles. I have a list here. Not every title is going to be for everyone, but they are amazing supplemental titles to Mario and Zelda. Because if you buy a Switch, you're going to buy Mario or Zelda. Zelda, if you don't own a Nintendo console that can play Breath of the Wild and you don't own it, I will find you. And I will go Liam Neeson and Taken on you.
No, you're just bringing your Switch and having them play for an hour or 2.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I kind of want to go over this list I made, and Ed, you can also throw in some titles. Okay, so 1-2 Switch is an obvious title for non-gamers. Yeah, a lot of people think that game looks real dumb, but when you get a big group of people together and they're playing it and having a good time, last weekend, I went over to my sister-in-law's, and 1-2 Switch was the hit of the hit of game night. We played it for 2 or 3 hours, and it was so much fun just looking like idiots with everyone. And it's an awesome party game, a small group of people party game.
Mm-hmm.
And ARMS looks really cool.
Yeah,
and everybody's yeah, I don't want to use motion, but they have the Pro Controller support. You don't have to wave your arms around. and it looks really cool.
Which is funny because people who doubted ARMS when Nintendo was doing like their press event, like going to different cities and having events where people could try it out. People were playing ARMS, and most of them were doing motion control, and were surprised on how well it works.
Yeah, and like how excited they were about ARMS. Like it's one of those games that's going to be a hands-on experience for you to get it. And that's exactly what the Switch is in general, is a hands-on experience. Once you get your hands on it, you can't put it down.
Yes.
Which my 56 hours in Zelda can tell you. That's the longest I've played any game in years besides Destiny.
I've played longer. It's called Persona 3 FES.
Oh man. It's Disgaea 5 is a cool strategy RPG that's coming in May. Assuming if you like tactical RPGs or, Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem, those types of games, I think Disgaea is a similar style game.
This would show NIS America that there is good support that they should be on Switch, because they make games, a lot of their games for Sony and pretty much not anywhere else. But if they could bring the Disgaea series to Nintendo and Sony, it's gonna show them good support that bring your game to our platform so we can enjoy it too.
Yeah, and I could really see a lot of the games that they bring over to PS4 and Vita specifically, like they would fit super well on Switch. It's the same type of thing, I can't wait for Disgaea 5 though. I played the crap out of Disgaea 3 on Vita, and I'm really excited for 5. Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 is the Musou style game, the Dynasty Warriors, Hyrule Warriors style game. Looks really cool. I'm probably going to get it because I really enjoyed Hyrule Warriors a lot, and I'm really looking forward to Fire Emblem Warriors when it comes out.
Oh, yes.
And probably the biggest game that's not a sports game coming to this for a, quote, mainstream audience, Skyrim is coming at some point this fall. It'll be the first time that game's portable, and I think that's honestly a huge get for Nintendo in terms of drawing in a mainstream audience. I personally don't really care for Skyrim all that much, or any Bethesda game for that matter that Bethesda proper does. Like, I love Doom and I loved Wolfenstein, but Fallout and Skyrim don't really do anything for me. Like I told you before, Zelda's going to be my Skyrim, the game that I go back to and try to figure out different ways to do things. Like, there's points in that game where I'm like, man, I wish I would have done this first, because it was way easier than like the dungeon order and stuff. But yeah, for people who love Skyrim and want to buy it for a 97th time.
And I know a lot of people say I could finally take my Skyrim game on the go without having to carry my PC. So it's a good deal. I would say if you're also going to be picking the Switch up, doing a lot of traveling, Iron Setsuna is a great choice. That old school Chrono Trigger RPG feel, it's just going to be wonderful to take on the go. And of course, you can hear the good music that's in that game with your headphones. Bomberman Zero has just released out. So that is a great top-down 2D shooter that, that people could get invested in, that he might actually like, as a gamer who don't play a lot of games. It looks good but I've seen other reviews, a lot of 8s and things, and people have been enjoying it and picking it up. So of course Bomberman R, but for some games that's coming out in the future, We'll wait for Rhyme, but Rhyme looks really good. Like that is a top game for the Switch that a lot of people are looking forward to. And
Yeah,
also,
it looks kind of like Wind Waker meets Journey
yes.
is what that game looks like. And I already have a pre-order. You should like this is my Switch pre-order list right here. It's and this is after I've already purchased, you know, Bomberman. I went down. I gotta tell you my Bomberman story. Okay, so you know how I canceled my Bomberman pre-order because I was like, who am I gonna play this with? I like Bomberman a lot, but I'm not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna probably pay $50 for it just to play the campaign and mess around with it for a little bit. Plus, I have Zelda. Plus, it's probably gonna go down in price at some point. I canceled the pre-order and then I found like Amazon people on Amazon were selling it for like 25 30 more dollars than retail. I was like, crap, is this going to be the first really really hard Switch game to find? Is this going to be that game? And so like I was scouring the internet. I messaged you to check Toys R Us for me. And like I couldn't find it anywhere. So I went to GameStop, the GameStop by my house. And the one girl that works there, me and her have kind of like become friends, and she lets me know when things are coming in and stuff if I need it. And I went in there and she was there, and I said, I screwed up. She's like, what? I'm like, I canceled my Bomberman pre-order. Now I can't find it anywhere. And she's like, okay, we're getting another shipment of Switch games in a couple days. I can call you if we get Bomberman in. I was like, okay, that'd be great. So, you know, a couple days later, she calls me. She's like, we have 3 copies of Bomberman. And I was like, okay, bye. So I drove up there, and by the time I got there, they had 1 copy of Bomberman left. And the GameStop is literally 5 minutes up the road from where I live.
Wow.
I could probably walk there. Like it's that close. I could walk there. And so I got the last copy of Bomberman, and still haven't played it, still haven't opened it, but just the fact that I got it, I'm just like, yes.
And I had some, so you should have just been like, Ed, can you pick it up for me and mail it to me?
I know, but I feel bad because you the NES Classic, which, by the way, if you're watching the video version, is hooked up to my big TV right next to my Switch. Yes. So I'm like, man, but anyways, Bomberman, if you're looking for a good multiplayer time that makes you feel real dumb when you die, Bomberman.
Yes. Which is funny because they dropped Bomberman 64 on Wii U for Virtual Console. I'm like, really?
I know. And they put Super Bomberman out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Actually, well, this is not breaking news, but Bomberman sold super well in Japan, and it's been the first. I think they said this is the highest Bomberman that's ever sold for the series in Japan.
It's crazy because like it's like I really like. I didn't play Bomberman 94. I think is the Super Nintendo one that released that everybody has a lot of love for, and which is kind of what this game is modeled after. But I had a lot of fun playing Bomberman 64. It was one of the first games I had for that system.
It was difficult. I couldn't I haven't beat that game yet.
And like I like that game a lot. So I was like, that's why I pre-ordered it to begin with. And then I was like, well, who am I going to play with? But after 1-2 Switch and like all these cool multiplayer games that I've been playing with my brother-in-law, and you know, I convinced him to get us. I took it over. Like, you know, because he likes playing games, but he can't play games. I don't know if I told this story on this show before. I probably have 1,000 times. He likes to play games, and he has an Xbox One, but he can't take it to the living room because they have 2 kids, and he doesn't want to play it while they're up because if he's playing Gears of War, Call of Duty, or Titanfall, like he doesn't want his kids watching that.
Yes.
They're almost 4 and 2. Like you don't want to show kids those games. And by the time they go to bed and fall asleep, like he really only has like a half hour to play before he goes to bed because he has to be up at 6 a.m. to go to work. So like I was like, look, the Switch, you're not gonna get very many of these shooty bang bang games. I showed him Zelda, and he was like, "Whoa, this game looks amazing." I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty amazing." And we played fast RMX for 2 hours the other night, and it was ridiculous because we were racing for last place. that game is so hard that we're just like, okay, well, we're obviously not coming in first, but we're not coming in last. And then like just figuring out that game to where you can switch the colors of the boosts and stuff really helped out. And like we played that for a couple hours, and I showed him Shovel Knight, and he really loved Shovel Knight. He's like, he knew nothing about Shovel Knight. He was like, man, this kind of plays like DuckTales on NES. I was like, wow, he made that connection without me ever even telling him about it. Like it was cool. It's cool to watch people's minds unravel when they play Nintendo games. Like I don't know, it's awesome.
It's something that. Oh, I'm just saying before, because I know you about to get into Sonic. Sana. I'm sorry. It's just something that people have not expected, because I think sometimes people are so misinformed. They think that gaming is only PS4 and Xbox One, and that games on Nintendo are just kiddie, but didn't realize that there's some creativity on Nintendo that you can't find on the other systems.
Yeah, and like that's why I always like, yeah, I'm always gonna buy like a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Yeah, I like Gears of War a lot. I like Titanfall enough. I love Tomb Raider. Like those games are awesome. And I really hope like the new Shadow of the Tomb Raider comes to Switch, because I feel like if they can get those games to run on Xbox 360, like they can totally put it on Switch.
Oh, but Square Enix would be dumb not to.
Yeah, and like I feel like Hitman would be an awesome game to put on there. Like I really see this thing integrating the console market and the tablet market, like Hitman Go, Lara Croft Go, those types of games on this thing would be awesome. Like those games I would really but what I was saying beforehand, Sana and I played Snipper Clips for like an hour and a half the other night, and it's like a refreshment. It's super refreshing to play a Nintendo game after playing 1,200 hours of Destiny, or like a ton of Overwatch, or it's super refreshing to play these games that are just you can't really play anywhere else.
Yes.
And I think that's why you and I love Nintendo so much, is like, yeah, we grew up on Nintendo and our gaming tastes have evolved and changed, and what we expect from a game is different, but like everything we play on Nintendo is just it's the same thing when you go to an amusement park, like a Six Flags, or in this area Cedar Point, super popular, or something like that, and then you go to Disney World or Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like that's what it feels like. These like Six Flags and Cedar Point have fun rides, but when you go to Disney World or Disneyland, like the magic that you feel when you walk in, and like everything, the attention to detail to everything is amazing. And just the little intricate things that 99% of the people don't recognize, but when you see it and you recognize it, you're like, wow. Yeah. And that's like the same feeling I have with Zelda, like these open world games like The Witcher or Assassin's Creed. They're great in their own right, but like when you turn on Zelda, you're like, this is what an open world game should feel like, the moment to moment.
It feels like with Zelda, they took the world open literally because everything is open. You're free to do anything. They just don't build a world. They just don't build a world, and you only could do certain stuff, even though it seems open. Like I would love for Grand Theft Auto that I could go into every building and see what's hidden in there, but I can't. Only thing that's open about it is that I could steal a car and drive somewhere. That's how open that game could be. Where Zelda is that it's so open that if you want to go into areas and you want to like lose health, but see what is there to offer, we're not holding you back.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I mean, we're gonna talk about a lot of Zelda in a couple minutes here, but I just, you just stumble across little things in there. Like, I was trying to do this one side quest that involved finding a certain type of horse, and I was walking it back to a stable, and I ran into this encampment where, these two, just people hanging out at this encampment, and one of them had a side quest. And it was just, it's something that, the map never directs you to, it doesn't happen. And you do this side quests and this little mini side quests, and, you get your reward and whatever. And it teaches you how to discover things without forcing you to go to certain areas.
Yes.
You are intrigued by the exploration, and you're rewarded for the exploration, whether it's a shrine or a Korok puzzle or a dungeon or or like elements that you need to upgrade your things, or a great fairy fountain, or there's a whole list of things that you get excited, and the game rewards you for your exploration.
Right. Even the food, the ingredients that you find, like you think you'll find one, but you'll defeat an enemy or you'll defeat a cow or something, and you got question mark on the meat or the item. You just be like, I'm finding more stuff that I didn't know that's in this game. And it's ridiculous on how little by little that game, when you explore, you find. And then cooking it or making a new elixir or whatever opens up more. And then there's like secrets in the towns that you open up. And it's just like, wow. I'm like, I didn't know this stuff could be in a game this big.
Yeah, it's I don't even know how to explain it, but this game is a masterpiece of a game. And like I have a few issues with the game, like inventory management and being able to sort your items the way you want it to. Like those things are there. And like on the Switch, if you're playing in TV mode, there's a couple frame rate hiccups here and there and stuff. But man, this game is a masterpiece. And like this is my thing is like, if this game is this good on their first try at a huge open world game,
yes,
imagine what the next one is going to be, or that third try. Because the world, the way you interact with it is so perfect. And like I told you in the group chat, like I want to see them take this art style and this like style of open world and move it from Hyrule to Termina, a Majora's Mask. Not like, no, I don't want a time thing. I don't need that. Like, we both replayed Majora's Mask on 3DS at some point, and like that time limit gets a little infuriating, especially like it's like Zelda hard mode, and like you have to know exactly where you need to be at this certain time, and like it's tough to keep up with that 3-day time limit. But that didn't keep me from enjoying the game, because I know that's what that game is, and like you just have to be in the right mindset for it. But but Breath of the Wild has almost ruined other Zelda games for me because of how masterful this open world and these systems work together.
It hasn't ruined it for me. It it just adds to the quality and surpassing it. Like every time I come across a Zelda game, I just get hyped that it's a Zelda game that I'm looking forward to that I could play, because there's going to be some innovative things. There's going to be some things that they thought of and they thought it would work, and maybe sometimes it do and it don't. Um, Somebody's favorite Zelda game or not, it because debatable or whatever, but it just feels good to play it again and knowing that in the future, if I want to come back to it, I'm going to have that same feeling of playing
Yeah.
that game. And I feel like Breath of the Wild and I know a lot of people are putting it like their number one now of all time, if not still Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask or A Link to the Past. For some people, A Link Between Worlds or Wind Waker. Those are the ones that they go to. But for me, it's just like, if like I said, when I play a Zelda game, I'm so excited to play Breath of the Wild. It's just like it's definitely dominated 2017 as game of the year. There's no question about that. But I'm like ranking it and stuff. I'm like, I feel like it joins the other great games that's been on console. Wind Waker, Skyward Sword for me, Twilight Princess, the original Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, maybe number 2, Majora's Mask is number 3 for me, Ocarina of Time. It's just like each of those games have made the Zelda franchise feel fresh and different and feeling improved. To even in everything that they did before to make Breath of the Wild, yes, you could see it, but it's just like it joins those great games that you cannot deny that they worked at the Zelda game and they kind of perfected it to what it is. Just kind of almost like the Switch, like they took everything from the past generational consoles, put it together to make something as good as the Nintendo Switch itself.
Yeah. But let's get back to this list before we go on with Zelda, because I know we want to talk Zelda a lot, obviously. Where do we leave off? Skyrim.
Yeah.
A lot of what? Sorry.
Oh, so this is for Joey. So if you there's a thing called the Nindy Showcase that they showed last week. So a few games that's coming that you would definitely want to check out. Steam World Dig 2, Ukulele, Overcooked. Looks really fun to play on the go. Goner, Dandara, by Raw Furry. Great. It looks like a great 2D sprite 16-bit game that you might actually enjoy. Kingdom 2 Crowns, Runner 3, Blaster Master Zero, like I mentioned, Flipping Death, Graceful Explosions, Mr. Shifty looks Mr. Shifty looks so good. Shakedown Hawaii, Pocket Rumble, War Groove, Stardew Valley. Like they have an indie showcase that they show. So if you are interested, you could go to Nintendo's YouTube page and check it out. Nintendo's like showcase. It's only about 15 minutes. And if you're interested in those games, give that video a look and write it down. There are no release dates for a lot of them, I can say, but for coming soon, I think you will really enjoy those games on your Switch.
Yeah. You forgot ukulele, man.
I did say ukulele.
Did you?
Steam World Dig, and then ukulele.
Okay, never mind. You didn't miss ukulele. I'm super excited for ukulele.
And there's, and like I said, and also E3. So just if you're still on the fence of it, or when you get your Switch and you feel like there's nothing to play, wait for E3 because there's still a ton of games. I think they said, and I think there's 111 indie games now in development for the Switch.
Yeah, I cannot wait for some of those indie games, dude. And like that, there's this game that looks kind of like a Metroid-y Shovel Knight called Hollow Knight.
Yes.
Have you seen this game?
Yes, I have, and I want it.
It looks awesome. And like, oh my gosh, Speaking of Metroid games, I hope Axiom Verge makes its way to Switch because I feel like that game would be perfect on Switch.
It's going to be a while. I think we won't see that to next year due to the fact they're doing the physical release of that game for Vita, PS4, and Wii U.
That's crazy because I feel like they should just make the physical copy for Switch now.
I think he just wants to work on those. I think
it makes sense. I'm just
think,
greedy.
I think with the money that, because he'll probably have to get those same developers that helped them do the Wii U version to reprogram it for Switch.
Yeah.
So I mean, and if that happens, hopefully Switch would be the last platform. Because I don't know, I think it's on Xbox One also. But if Switch is the last platform that it comes on, hopefully he has enough money to start working on his new game.
Maybe a sequel to Axiom Verge.
I think that probably won't come out until maybe a few years down the line. If he makes enough money to actually hire developers that's going to work with them. Because I'm like, he did work a long time as a single person make this game. So hopefully the reward of it coming to Switch and those physical versions, hopefully that helps them to bring out a new game. And maybe Axiom Verge 2.
Yeah.
Also, Bloodlines or Igarashi's game.
Bloodstained.
Hopefully, hopefully that's coming out for Switch also.
It is. They confirmed it.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty excited for that. But getting back to this list, just to name off a couple other games before we get into Zelda. A lot of sports games are coming. FIFA 18, NBA 2K18, NBA Playground. Then you got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is the definitive edition of Mario Kart 8, which oh my gosh, dude, I'm so excited for Mario Kart. You don't even understand. That's why I bought a second Pro controller so Sana and I can play Mario Kart on the plane when we go to Florida in May.
Yay!
I'm so excited. 2 Fire Emblem games, 1 proper Fire Emblem game, and then Fire Emblem Warriors, which I feel like of all of Nintendo franchises, Fire Emblem would work the best in a warrior style game.
Yes.
Minecraft, if you're into that. No More Heroes game is coming eventually. Puyo Puyo Tetris looks up. I don't need to say anything about that.
Street Fighter 2,
Rayman Legends, Street Fighter 2, Sonic Mania looks awesome. Splatoon 2 is probably going to be a huge hit for this thing. They hinted at a Super Smash Brothers announcement in a recent interview with Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Yeah.
An Untitled Tales game is coming eventually. And then if you're a super JRPG nerd, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which that developer helped develop the open world for Zelda. So that makes me even more excited for Xenoblade 2 because of how awesome Xenoblade Chronicles for Wii was and how huge Xenoblade Chronicles X for Wii U was and how just amazing Zelda is.
Yes.
If this game is half as good as Zelda, I'm just going to be like, oh my gosh, this is one of the best games ever. And then, if you want like party games, Jackbox Party Pack is coming. Snipper Clips is awesome. Overcooked, you said already, is a cool multiplayer game. So there's a lot coming to Switch. And I realize a lot of these games aren't for everyone, but there's something there for some of these games there's a game for everyone's taste out there. So if you're concerned, there's your kind of quick list that Ed and I kind of just threw together. And it's also based on my Nintendo Switch checklist of games that I want and am looking forward to purchasing.
Me too.
At some point, eventually, maybe. No confirmation of Madden or anything yet, but I'm sure there will be a version of Madden since it's EA's second biggest franchise for sports.
And it literally will and I know they were just like, well, you know, when they have their Madden challenge, it's probably going to be Xbox One or PS4. But I think a lot of people who are going to be practicing for that game on the go would be like, well, if it's the same game on Xbox One and PS4 or even up to it, I might as well, if I'm flying to this tournament, might as well continue my training and play it on Switch.
Yeah. Man, just this sorry, somebody was ranking every game on this this website.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out like what was wrong with the list, and I'm not going to promote the list because it's a bad list. But anyways, we're going to move along to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild discussions. Ed, I've put 56 hours into Zelda, and there's nothing I want to do more now than just go back and keep playing.
Well, I know at some point I have to put it on hold because I have to do the order and I have to do Horizon this week.
No, you don't.
No, I do. I got it.
No, you don't. You can do Horizon, but the order you don't need to do. Wait. No. I'm just kidding. The order was okay. It was fine.
Look, I was like I said, I was supposed to play it Saturday, and I fell asleep. And when I got up, ate lunch, I ended up watching Angie Tribeca and didn't play the order at all.
Yeah, so I've been binge watching Parks and Rec for the first time. And because that's one of Sana's favorite shows, and I've never watched it. And in the last week and a half, I've binge watched 4.5 seasons.
Wow.
And I've been paying attention to this show, but also playing my Switch in handheld mode, which is why I have so much time in with Zelda, because I'm able to play games, because
yes.
I want to spend time with my wife and do real people things, go out to dinner sometimes and whatever. And, I have responsibilities that don't always allow me to play games, which is why the Switch is the perfect device right now for where I'm at in my life. I can't drag, I mean, I probably could, but I don't want to. I could drag another TV in there and put my PlayStation 4 on there and play some Overwatch or whatever. But I don't want to do that. I want to be able to be have my wife lay on me while I'm playing Switch and watching TV. It's this device. I've only played on my TV. Last night I had I'm off work today for the first time since last Monday, and I played a 4-hour binge last night on my TV for the first time. I've probably only played Switch on my TV for about 6 or 7 hours. Wow. And the handheld mode is way better than I thought it was going to be. I haven't had any battery issues, any the longest I've got in Zelda, I turn the sound all the way down to where I can barely hear it, and I have my screen brightness down because I'm inside, and I got 3 hours and 15 minutes out of one charge.
Cool.
100% charge for Zelda. And I was like, oh, that's because I was really curious. So I was like, if I turn these settings all the way down and turn off Wi-Fi and everything, how much can I get out of this on a single charge? Because if you're gonna go on a plane trip and you're at the airport and whatever, you're gonna want to play this thing while you're waiting for your flight and then on your flight and stuff like that. So I was like, I need to figure out how long this is gonna take. 3 hours and 15 minutes for Zelda. So that was a decent chunk of time. And, I'm not really that guy who worries about battery life too much because, I don't sit and play games for longer than 2 or 3 hours at a time anyway.
Right.
But, man, this device is awesome. like what I told you, once they fix the UI, once they integrate more updates to the UI and fix the eShop and stuff like that, this device I don't understand why people like aren't like, I don't know, man. This device is kind of perfect.
Yeah, it's just been a lot of talk about Switch. So, like ever since it came out, like I really haven't heard too many people talking about Xbox One and PS4. Like, and I can tell you right now, even though I don't have a Switch, I've been playing my Wii U. I haven't touched none of my Xbox One. Like the last time I played that system was the Ghost Recon Wildlands beta. PS4, I installed the Order 1886, got to the first part and cut it off. Like those are my last times that I even played both of the systems.
Yeah, I played Horizon for probably like 15-ish hours before Switch came out, and I was like, man, I really feel bad for that game that it came out right before Zelda, because like anybody who's played Zelda is probably not going back to Horizon anytime soon.
Yes. Or if someone is playing Horizon, someone else in their family is playing Zelda.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I feel really bad because like that game is a phenomenal game, and I enjoyed what I played of that game.
Yes.
But when I play Zelda, like I'm pretty sure I've told you this before. It's the same feeling I had when I was 10 years old and I got my N64 for Christmas that year, and I played Super Mario 64 for the first time. That is the level of excitement and just pure joy I have playing this machine. And don't get me wrong, I've been super excited for systems before. Like I got a GameCube for an early birthday gift when it came out, and I love that machine. I enjoyed my Wii and my Wii U, but this, like, I don't know, man. The feeling that I had 20 something years ago when N64 came out, and I was just sitting there enamored by one game for so much time, is just I like it. I'm just like shaking with excitement just thinking about this machine, and I've played Zelda for almost 60 hours, and that's the only game I can think about right now.
It's on pause right now on my screen.
Yeah, like I mean, my Switch is charging over here, and like it's on. I just have my TV off so it wouldn't glare off the camera for the video version of this, but I cannot stop thinking about Zelda, man. And for like future releases, like what they did with Zelda and the way they changed Zelda so much makes me excited for Mario, makes me excited for a future Metroid release, makes me excited for, okay, what we did with Zelda, how we changed Zelda worked. How do we apply this to our other franchises, this method? And that's what makes me excited about this device even more, is like, what kind of innovations are we going to get for, other franchises that we haven't seen in a while?
It definitely has to become Metroid. They have to open up. And I know Metroid is more of a linear kind of feel for it. When you get a new power, usually you're going to use that power for a boss, but you can also use it in different areas. But it's just like they really have to look at Breath of the Wild and just be like, let's take some things from Breath of the Wild, and let's use it for Metroid, and let's push Samus into a world that's going to be a little bit more open, that and not have a limit on her weapons and stuff, but be able to give her new weapons, figure out how, when you get that new weapon, figure out how it should be used in a new area to get further in.
Yeah.
And it feels like they would have to put her on once again back on the world, like the Metroid Prime series. But if they go 2D, they literally have to bring new bosses, and just bring all new weapons. Like they really would have to make it open and flesh out, and even put places that is not part of the story. But if you go there, you are rewarded with something.
Yeah, I could totally see them applying this type of openness to Metroid, because you look at Super Metroid and the original Metroid, like that's all about exploring one large world. It's just limits of the technology back then made you have to like go 2D instead of 3D. Like,
Yes.
I could totally see okay, Hyrule is for all intents and purposes, it's like one floor. Like if you're looking at a building, it's like one floor, but like, with mountains that you can climb and stuff. If you took this and made a Metroid game and added like, okay, here's the main floor. What's up here? What's up here? What's down below the surface of the planet? Like, you could make your world in terms of like, okay, this is a futuristic world. There's going to be different levels of the planet. You're going to want to go down into like the mines of the planet. And find secrets in this planet. You're going to want to go high above, because what if there's like a floating, I don't know. I feel like they could do some interesting things with Metroid, and I'm not like a game designer, so that was my game design 101 right there.
I say if they do with Metroid and they want to do something open like that, make Samus young, like when she was being trained, like she was in the comics. Let her see her be on that planet that where she got adopted at and she got trained at. Let her training be like, okay, there are certain things of her training that made her a bounty hunter. But the world was so open that she risked her life to do stuff to gain new training or new abilities that the clan that adopted her never knew about. And and maybe before it gets linear and stuff, or get cut off at a linear point, be like, okay, this is what happens. This is how she became the bounty hunter, how she got trained, before she entered the military and all of that stuff. Like, I would love to see something like that. And I have a vision. I keep having a vision where she does that as a young kid, and as time like it first passed after Metroid Fusion, that somehow she gets in. Somehow she ends up finding that Mother Brain has made a return, and it's a new storyline starting off with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I could totally see them doing something with the different suits that Samus wears.
Yes.
Like the way that, in Breath of the Wild, like you have, like, for example, I just went through this area and my reward for completing the shrine was I have a full rubber suit now that makes me resistant to lightning strikes. Like,
I see that. I seen someone made a post about it, but I haven't seen the suit yet.
Yeah, and I finally have the complete set now. And like, because like one of the side quests that you're given is like you have to deliver elements to this a Gerudo in Death Mountain. You deliver her elements, she can make you pieces of armor, and one of the pieces of armor goes with this suit is lightning earrings. So you put on the lightning earrings, and then in a different section of the map, it's one of the it's like over by like the Rito village. There's this area it's constantly storming, and you have to figure out this puzzle to unlock the shrine to make it come out of the ground. And you go in there and you finish the shrine, and your reward in there is a rubber suit, like the top part of the rubber suit.
Yes.
And then you go to a different section of the map that's also infested by lightning storms, and you figure out that puzzle, and then you get the pants for the rubber suit, and then you have the whole rubber suit, and you're like, oh, well, that's 3 totally different areas, 3 totally separate things to do in the game. Like, one was a shrine quest, one was literally just finding the shrine. And the other part was a side quest that is not even in a single area of the map, and you have your whole suit, and now you're resistant to lightning. And I thought that was super cool. Like, like if you're going to apply this to a Metroid thing, like, maybe you start out with Zero Suit Samus and you're exploring the planet and you find different armor parts, and like maybe you'll be mismatched for a while. Maybe you'll, apply different pieces of armor to do different things when you need them. Like, it doesn't have to be element resistant like in Zelda, but you could apply a new blaster cannon to your arm to do more damage to your enemies, but the trade-off is you have less defense, or you apply a different pair of like legs so you can run faster, but you don't do as much damage. There's different things you can do in a Metroid game that'd be super cool. Yeah, I just man, now that's all I want now. And like I kind of want it to be a third person action game, kind of like Zelda, but like, if they give us a 2D Zelda, I'm not going to complain. Or if they give us another Metroid Prime, I'm not going to complain.
I say go with Other M. I think Other M worked perfectly as an action game.
Yeah, and I didn't have any of the issues with Other M that people had. Like, yeah, the story's kind of dumb, and like, yeah, whatever. But like the gameplay side of it was fine. Like, it worked fine. And if you're going to give me a full controller that can, like, I can move the camera around and explore in the way that Other M did, like, I think that gameplay worked just fine for that game.
Yeah, and I feel like if you could mix in Other M gameplay and Metroid Prime's gameplay, like if you go into first person, you can move around and it works, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Metroid is the one game that can take a lot of cues from Breath of the Wild and just totally change it up. But back to Zelda.
Yes.
Gosh, we get so distracted all the time. How much are you loving this game?
I'm playing almost every day, and I'm putting, just like you, putting mad hours, mad time into this. I think I only looked up one thing. I looked up two things. Just to see if what I was doing was correct, and I was. Another one was to find Hestu, because it was just weird. But I ended up finding him because I had too many seeds and I had to kind of open up my inventory and stuff like that. Other than that, I've been falling into everything accidentally. I've been doing unlocking towers, fighting the guardians, and realizing that it's better to reflect their attack on you. So I've been making sure that I have metal shields. So I mentioned earlier that I was meeting Robbie, who is one of the archaeologists in the game. And just like with one of Pura's, how you have to light the blue flame to get to her area, to get, for her to start crafting your stuff. You kind of have to do the same thing for Robbie. So close to Robbie's door is a guardian sitting right there. So you have to deal with the guardian, but also deal with that in that part of the game, in that area, it's raining with lightning. So if you have anything metal, you need to throw it off of you or get rid of it, because the lightning will come and it will attack you. So I defeated the guardian. I seen that it came in, and I just swiped back his eye attack back to him. And it told him that, like, if you time it right, you'll be able to do it. It did it again. So I did it like twice and I defeated him. Blowing them mugs up gave me so much ancient parts that I was just like, let me hurry up and get this. I just been enjoying it. The Yiga clan is some of the best enemy designs and some of the most funniest enemies to deal with.
See, and it's funny because I haven't even gotten to that part yet. Like, I know, like I mean, if you're watching the video version, like I have my map and my guide just sprawled out on the floor over there because like I was searching for shrines and I was looking like the Yiga clan area is marked on the map and I plan on getting over there eventually, but I'm so invested in what I'm doing on the complete other side of the map that I haven't even looked yet.
With the Yiga clan is you'll fight them throughout parts of the land, but the actual section of like really dealing with them is part of the story. So I don't want to tell what part of the story that's in the game, but dealing with them and and just figuring out a lot of the stuff, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so funny. But I mean, they are dangerous. They will go crazy on you if you don't know what you're doing. Um, I did defeat one who had a big sword, like a katana kind of sword, and I ended up getting his sword. I ended up defeating him and getting his sword. Um, which is really nice because I was saving it for some things. Uh, I haven't chopped down the wood trees to get wood so I could buy my house. Uh, I found some secrets in some places. Uh, fought a dragon. And now I'm just like on an island trying to finish it. And that island is a shrine, and I don't want to tell where or how I got there, but I continue to find more new stuff throughout this game. Um, one of the towers that I unlocked had all of the Ganon Calamity on it, which is the purple goop stuff.
Yep. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
And I had to figure out some of the stuff, and I did get to the top, and I did unlock it. But man, I thought that the goop was gonna be gone after I unlocked it. Nope. I was just like, oh, the stuff is still here. Crap. So, but yeah, I just been finding a lot of stuff. I'm trying to find a lot of luminous stones, and I gotta get some flint. But there's just so much. I think there's a tower under one of the waterfalls by Zelda and Mario. I don't know yet, but I'm not sure. It looks like I got to get a ball and put it on top of it. But I'm loving how they're mixing up how a shrine is done, because a shrine could be actually what you do in the world, and when you go inside it, they'd be like, you actually did the event that was the shrine. So here's your reward. I've been loving that.
Yeah, it's like I did this one the other day where I was just roaming through the world looking for shrines to unlock, and I walked up to this tablet that was on the ground, and it had three of those those pads where you put the orange balls and they turn blue when you insert them.
Yeah.
I read the thing and it said, it gave me the shrine quest. I was like, oh, well, there's obviously a shrine here. So, there's three different pathways. Like, they're not really obvious, but if you look at the map, like, it shows you, okay, there's three pathways, and you fight these big, like the one-eyed, like giant one-eyed guys, and they're all holding they're all holding one of those balls, and you have to fight each one and take their ball up to the platform. And I did that, and two of them were like the minor ones, which were like the small ones, the ones that are easier to fight. But one of them was a major one, and he had a bunch of minions that were also fighting me. So that fight probably took me like 15 minutes, where I had to like, okay, I need to destroy the minions first, and then then without being butt stomped by him, because he can butt stomp, and I'm running around this small area, and finally I beat him and I unlocked the shrine. And then when I got into the shrine, there's more puzzles in the shrine. And I'm like, man, they range in difficulty. Like some of them are just like you go in and you fight a small enemy and you beat the shrine, and other ones have these huge elaborate puzzles which sometimes take me like 20 to 30 minutes to figure out. And all of them, or not all of them, but a lot of them require more than one tool that you have.
Yes.
And like there's some shrines that can, you like, who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody, and like we were talking about this one specific shrine, and we both beat it a totally different way. I think it was one of those electric ones where you have to place the metal blocks to complete the current to unlock the door. Well, like,
yeah, I just did one of those.
Well, like I was like, I spent probably like 15 minutes on it trying to figure out how to get like the blocks out of the cages that they were in. And he's like, and I was talking to my friend, and he's like, well, I just took a bunch of metal weapons in there and dropped them to complete the current. And I'm like, that's genius. I never even thought of doing that. So like it's crazy, because like I was moving treasure chests and these giant blocks to try to complete these currents, and he's like, yeah, I just took a bunch of metal weapons in there and I beat it.
Is it the one where you start out with the barrel and one big block? It's like you kind of got there's two sides. Okay. So you have to kind of start from the left side and then work on the right side.
Yeah. And that one is some of these shrines are like super creative and super weird. There's only been one where I've been super annoyed by, and it was the motion one with the giant ball that you had to weave through the maze. I don't know if you've done that one yet.
Yes. Okay. So it's in the middle. So you kind of got to like move it down. And then because if you go down too fast, there's a interest that makes it roll off. You got to try to get into the last right one. Yeah. Dude, I think I spent about 10 minutes, but eventually I did get it.
Yeah. And I got it too. And then after I did it, there's this way to do it where you can totally flip the thing over or like have it land right where you need it to be.
Oh, did you do the golf one?
The golf one? No.
Yes. So there is one of them that it's a hammer, and it's right in front of the ball.
Oh yeah, like you have to like swing the hammer and like hit the ball so it reaches the next part of it.
that it actually reaches. I'm just like, they put golf in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's so many good things, and like even the dungeons, like that I kind of wish the dungeons were a little bit bigger. But like they're also like just so I'm glad these dungeons are super puzzle based and not like, okay, this is obviously a mini boss and like item to progress through the dungeon and stuff like that. I'm glad that stuff is gone, and like the only real enemies are like the stuff from the purple goop that you have to shoot the eyes out to get rid of the goop.
Yes.
And like I don't want to go into any spoilers for the dungeons, because those are kind of really main story points. But like I love having the stuff that you get from the dungeons, like the powers that you get from the dungeons, because it's just it's awesome, and they help with exploration and battle and stuff, and it's just awesome. I cannot tell you how much this game has changed my views on gaming, because like I'm not gonna lie, the last couple years I've felt, I don't know, not that I'm like not into games anymore, because I love video games, they're always going to be a part of my life, but I felt like games have been getting stale.
getting
And
very
like,
generic and playing the same, just playing the safe bet. And that's why I kind of feel that, you know, when you get a game and you depend on trailers that don't show you gameplay, trailers that if they showed you the name, that it's automatically going to be a game of the year contender, or it's going to be a hot title and stuff. And that's always not necessarily the case. If you're not going to try anything new and make it feel different, which that's why I say when you play a Nintendo game, you feel the creativity that's in it because they're trying something new. Playing the safe, they'd be like, let's see what works and what doesn't. A lot of games from these other publishers, they're afraid that they're not going to be able. They're afraid that, you know, business wise, it's not going to make them money.
yeah,
But if people feel the creativity that you poured into this game and you enjoy it, it will make money. You know, a lot of us, it's been what, 5 year development cycle or 4 year. You know, Nintendo had a lot to prove with Breath of the Wild, and everything that they did in this game, every delay that they made, every time Manuma did a video said that we sorry we had to delay this game because we have more ideas. You see the creativity and the ideas that came out from this game. So everything in this universe feels fresh and new. Like, it makes you relearn. It makes you appreciate the work that went into this game. If I play Red Dead Redemption, I'm not gonna feel no creativity because why? They're just borrowing elements from the Grand Theft Auto series and throwing it in with some horses. There's not going to be nothing new that I could rave and talk about and be like, "Hey, Corey, did you play 7 hours of Red Dead Redemption doing this stuff?" No, you're not. We're not going to be able to have that discussion. Where right now we can have a discussion about Zelda, and I'm like, "Wait, you found a giant horse? What the heck?" And we could talk maybe 20 minutes about that alone on how you found a horse.
yeah, and like it's the giant horse is a side quest you get just by roaming around the world. Like, you find these people or the mysterious giant horse, and it gives you side quests, and you're like, oh well, there's this field over here that has a ton of, let's go look over there. And sure enough, in the middle of this pack of horses, there's a horse there that's 3 times the size as all the other horses. And you have to climb a tree and like land on its back to mount it. You can't mount it like a normal horse. You have to literally like glide onto the horse to mount it, and then you ride the horse back to you have to find the people again to turn in the side quest.
Quick question: Is the horse have like orange hair?
Yep.
Okay, I know where you're at because I did it, and I don't know it's a side quest because you have to try it. Like, it drains down your stamina, right? Because you have to try to tame it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to have at least like 1.5 stamina bars to do it.
See,
like,
I
have
didn't
to
know
upgrade
that's a
your stamina.
side.
Yeah. Like, you have, like, you can register the horse. Like, what you can do, like I've seen a lot of people do this. Once they find the side quest, you can register the giant horse at a stable, right? And then when you find the people who do the side quest, you just mark it on your map, and there's a stable, like, I don't know, kind of close to them. You just go to that stable and take it out and ride it back to the area where they're at, and you just show them the horse, and you talk to them while you're on the horse, and they see it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because the land is all open. And see, I went to the other side of it, was been climbing up that part of it. And at the top is kind of a cold area, but somewhere around there is a shrine, and I can't find it.
Yeah. It's there's so much to do in this game, and like, there's towns in this game that are marked on my map. Like, there's this town all the way to the east that I don't know how to enter the town because, like, where it's marked on the giant map that's laying on my floor over there, all that's there is a shrine to pray to, And like I think you have to pray at the shrine to raise the town out of the ground. But like I haven't had enough of those orbs to pray to the thing to upgrade my hearts or anything yet. So like I think you need to activate that the thing that you have to pray to
Uh-huh.
to raise the town out of the ground. So like that's my next goal, I think, is to do that, because there's armor you can buy there that's specific to some of the quests that I haven't unlocked yet. There's some side quests in that town. But yeah, it's crazy how much there is in this game. And there's like on the edge of the map on the east side, there's 4 islands that line up against each other. And like I haven't even explored those yet. And then we were talking about before the show, the island where like they strip you of all your weapons and your gear,
Yes.
and you have to just survive on the island to unlock the shrine. And like there's so many little things like that in the Lost Woods. Like, oh, the Lost Woods.
I haven't got to that part yet.
Oh
I'm
my
still
gosh.
looking. I probably have to unlock part of the map because it's not showing on my map the Lost Woods yet.
Just make sure you have a lot of hearts when you go in there.
Yeah, I'll probably before I go in there. Yeah, I will.
There's a very specific side quest in the Lost Woods. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you're going to need at least 13 hearts to do it. So
a lot of I'll be cooking up some food and making sure.
Yeah. So yeah, just make sure you have enough hearts when you go in there. That part of the game though is super cool. It's man, and then there's 4 shrines in the Lost Woods too. So like that's I have to get in the right mindset, because the way the Lost Woods work is like there's fog in the Lost Woods, and like if you go too fast or too far without a torch, like it warps you back to a checkpoint. Make sure you have a torch or something that can be lit on fire while you're there too.
Because they said flint does, but I'm just like, but I can't light flint.
No, how you light flint is like you hold a bushel of wood chips, like like the wood chips, and a piece of flint, and you drop them on the ground together, and then you hit it with a metal object. And then it creates a campfire, which is how you unlock one of the shrines. Like there's a shrine over by the Rito village that you have to do that with. Like you have to go to this specific point at a certain time of day, and the base of the shrine will light up. But to raise the shrine out of the ground, you have to light the shrine on fire. And how you do that is the flint and wood trick. So
wow. I did find out how to shield, sir. So
yeah, I also did that. I haven't done it a lot though.
Me neither. I haven't.
Like I mean it's a cool thing, but I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, the sand seals I love.
I see. I haven't ridden a sand seal yet.
Oh, just before you ride them, just take a like if you could look at their animation, the wild ones that's by the Gerudo village. Just look at some of their animation and stuff, because they look funny, but sometimes because it's so hot, they'll fan themselves with the tail. And it looks so funny, but so adorable. And I'm just like, how did you guys create these characters and these animals and just make them like cute, adorable, and just make them fascinating? Like the artwork in this game and the motion of the artwork, it's just phenomenal to me.
It's and like So something I did notice in this game, like the they took really cool elements of what I thought made Skyward Sword a cool looking Zelda game. And like you remember, how they got the huge world to work on the Wii was like uh the closer you got to an area, the more defined it became. In the distance, stuff looked like a painting. Like they're doing a lot of that stuff in this game where like you see the stuff out in the distance, but as you get closer, like the game world becomes more defined. And like I really think the art direction in this game is super smart, and it's like the detail of this game is just phenomenal. Like, yeah, you look at Horizon and it's super photorealistic and everything is big and gorgeous and looks beautiful, but this game is just as beautiful in the opposite direction. And like I feel like games need that. I feel like we need more of that because like as beautiful as Horizon is, how many photorealistic games have we played recently? Like I know they're in different settings, but you look at Uncharted and The Order and Tomb Raider and Horizon, and like they all look similar. Like they just look like people.
Yes.
But then
And
you something like Zelda, and it's just like, wow, this is amazing. The art direction in this game is what makes this game special too. Like
yes.
it's amazing.
And I could say definitely with with Horizon with its art style, of course the gameplay matters in Horizon. And from what a lot of people said, it's really good. Really feels like Tomb Raider, which is strong. I I really can't say that much for the Order or for Uncharted 4, that they look pretty, but the substance of gameplay is not really there. Where and here in in Breath of the Wild, the artwork and the gameplay matters, and it all works. Sometimes there are some musical cues and stuff, but just looking on how the wind and the fog and you know just on how it looks, you just be like, you wonder on how is this running in real time, and why does it work the way that it's supposed to work,
Yeah.
especially with with this gameplay. you know there's fire jellyfish or jelly blobs, whatever. If they roll around grass, the grass catch on fire, and it's a big fire, and you could take your wood stick out, light it up, run to, if you see a cooking pot that needs to be lit up, bam, light it. When it rains, uh it knocks out most of the fire stuff to end your cooking stuff. And it's just like they really thought about everything. Once something happens, there's supposed to be the cause and the effect works well together.
Yeah. Yeah. I cannot tell you how many times people post funny stuff about Skyrim and Fallout all the time because the game is so glitchy and buggy and the systems don't work well together. They're cool systems, but they don't work well together. And there's texture pop in and there's plants going through walls and stuff. You look at Zelda and like there's no hiccups. There's no hiccups. When the lightning strikes water, like you get electrocuted, or
Yes.
when it rains, the fires go out. When you are shooting, it's just the way all the systems work, and they work so cohesively together, and there's no hiccups. No hiccups, man, in
Right.
this game.
And if they want to make you feel like a movie action star, you have to time it right. When you flip at the right time and it asks you to do the furry rush, it makes it feel like a movie. When you're jumping off a horse and you're pulling your bow to slow down time to make you feel like an action game, it has that gameplay element. You don't have to do it, but it's helpful, and that's very cool that this game allows you to do that.
I know, and it's like I can't stress enough how like every time I talk to somebody about this game, I try my hardest to come talk about this game in a objective, non super fanboy type of way. And like when I talk about the Switch, I try to do the same thing. And like I do have some issues with the console itself, which, you know, they'll be fixed in due time with system updates. You know, you look at the way Xbox, any Xbox UI has evolved. You look at the way any PlayStation UI has evolved. Like those fixes will come. So
Yes.
I'm not as harsh on the system about that. But when I talk about Zelda, I say there's some inventory management problems. But other than that, I literally have no issue with this game.
Yeah, I, you know, even with the frame rate drops, that don't bother me. Even when I do the home, like press the home button on Wii U, and it takes time to load, I don't have no problem with that. I look the loading time, I could deal with. What I can't deal with, and this don't have nothing but for the while, is that the shoot when I played Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS4, that thing had to install the story that's on the disc. I would lose my mind if Legend of Zelda had to do that. I'm like, wait, you got to install the story? Oh, heck no. So I could deal with any loading problems on Legend of Zelda. And to actually tell you the truth, once the game loads on your system, there's barely any loading time throughout the whole thing. I mean, it'll come for some places, yes, it's loading the data, but they're telling you like how many seeds you got, what heart levels, how many shrines you accomplished, how many spirit orbs that you got. Like it tell you that, but also give you notes and tell you if you did any of the dungeons, the deities, it tell you which ones that you have. So that's cool. It, you know, at the bottom left, no, bottom right, I'm sorry, it says The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it has a little loader thing. But once it's low, there's no problem for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and man, I don't know. I don't know what else I can say about this game except that it's like I don't know if it's just the perfect like alignment for me of like what I want in a game and where I'm at in my life right now and the excitement of a new system or whatever. But this game is just the perfect game right now. And it's amazing. It's so amazing. It's just amazing.
Yes.
So man, Zelda. It is a I don't say this much, but it doesn't matter what system you own, what kind of fanboyism you play to, like what your favorite system is. I feel like Zelda is a must-play game for every gamer.
And if you don't play it, sit down with a friend and watch them. Go on the adventure with them because people have been enjoying the game also just by watching.
Yeah. It's a special game, and I think everybody needs to at least sit down with it, look at it, realize what this, even if you're not a Zelda fan, even if you're not a Nintendo fan, even if open world games aren't your thing, because open world games aren't my thing. I don't like open worlds because I feel like they're too overwhelming. There's too much to do. There's too many markers on the map. But this game somehow does it right in my opinion, and does what I feel this series needed to do without me ever thinking like, how can Zelda be different?
Yes.
And this game redefines Zelda without any hiccups whatsoever, and I love it for that.
In a way, for me, I don't like, even though it is open world, I I don't I don't think of open, I don't think of, you know, of a certain open world game for it that applies to this. I think that I want to go there and I want to see how I could get there and what I can do, and be allowed to figure it out on my own and enjoy that. You know, the explorations I'm rewarded with, and I don't feel limited.
Yeah.
I'm given the choice of to do whatever I want. If I want to kill myself 15,000 times in the game, I can do that. It don't give me no progress, but at least it might be something that I can enjoy. But I love having my weapons break, so I could actually get a new weapon and figure out how to defeat enemies. Keep me thinking on my toes and stuff, whether I need to run away or not.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we've said all we can really say about Zelda until next time when we find something different and something weird. But I think we are going to wrap up this episode of POW Block. We have been run a little long, and we're back on schedule finally.
Yay!
So Ed, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ThatRetroCode, and you can find my podcast, Optional Opinion, on SoundCloud, and my other podcast, World 11, at shoutengine.com.
Yeah. And you can find me at Corey Hudson and HD on Twitter, Corey and HD on Instagram. You can also follow me on Facebook if you want. You can friend me, whatever. You can find POW Block every Tuesday and Friday now that we're back on schedule.
Yes.
Jeez. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. You can find the video versions every Tuesday and Friday on our YouTube page at NGR Radio. Go check it out, subscribe. Also check out NGR Radio, our other podcast, that we do with Matthew Keel, and Ed shows up periodically, which you need to come back on soon.
Yay.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Follow us on Facebook. Check out our website, ngrradio.com. All that stuff. Yeah.
Everybody, my latest blog for Optional Opinion will be dropping in 2 more weeks. March 20th will actually be a blog about the coloring game. So will be talking about Breath of the Wild, because March 20th is the first day of spring. So I do want to just announce that. So do be ready for that. You'll see it on NGR Radio's website, and you'll see it on my personal website. And probably post it everywhere. You can friend me on Facebook under Edward Varnell, and you'll be able to find it on my Twitter page at that retro code. I'll post it there too.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for listening or watching, and until Friday, we're out.
Peace out, everybody.